mountainous twilight landscape. This was fall 2009, and I was preparing for a hike in the backcountry, Glacier National Park, Montana. I had just arrived with a friend of mine, and we were preparing for this 5-day trek out in the backcountry that included a $200 sleeping bag, two $200 sleeping bags, $40 bottle of port, and no technology other than a compass. No technology, no cell phone, no laptop, no nothing, no MP3 player, nothing. Now my friend was experienced. We could call him a hiking wonk. And he knew a lot of what he was doing, and he loved hiking. He loved nature. He was a geologist, really got into it, and I think fell in love with it for the reasons that I fell in love with it. So anyway, here we were, had just arrived. It was twilight. Honestly, this haze really looked blue. Before long, morning arrived, shedding light on the mountainous snow-capped peaks. And we laced up our hiking boots. I donned my 40-pound backpack and hitchhiked to the icy trailhead. Now, normally I vacation poolside in Naples, Florida, where I have such amenities as wireless, luxury cookware, luxury linens, heated pool, hot tub, flat screen TV in every room, you name it. And it's one of many vacation homes that belongs to my dad down in Naples, Florida, who has designed them in such a way that visitors will never want to leave. And yet I have found so many times going down there, I return back to Michigan time and time again, less than rejuvenated. This time I needed something different. I needed an escape. I needed to think. And so Glacier, a hike in Glacier, seemed a desirable option. But let me tell you, when I got out of that car and freezing rain pelted against my face, desirable was the last word that came to mind. But I fastened my mittens, zipped up my rain gear, and I wondered why I had not gone to Naples. Our hike began at the top of a mountain. We descended down, and then we did a slow climb up another mountain where we would set up camp. Do it again the next day, the next, and 2 days after that until we finally arrived back at the car and made a 30-hour drive home to Michigan. These first few hours, let me tell you, were novel. They were exhilarating. I felt strong. I felt like an adventurer, even despite the 40 pounds on my back. It does not take long to chafe your skin, let me tell you. But it did not take long before this silence honestly became deafening. And I began to feel restless as I inadvertently recalled to-do lists and all these things that I thought I forgot. I wanted to check my email. I felt phantom vibrations from my cell phone. And I realized that this putting one foot in front of the other, stopping occasionally for water, was all there was to my vacation. Or was it? Todd Braver, a psychology professor at Washington University, ventured on a similar journey. He and 4 other neuroscientists ventured into the heart of Utah for the specific purpose of trying to understand how the heavy use of technology affects our brains and honestly changes the way we think and behave, and how a retreat into nature might actually reverse those effects. Their trip, too, began with a sense of urgency. Frequent impulses to check email, cell phones. But as their time progressed, they found their minds slowing down. They discovered new ideas as they darted in and out of conversation, only interrupted by things like bighorn sheep, circling hawks, sights that they honestly never even noticed during their first day. They discussed behavioral studies and how with our heavy technological society, how focus and attention span is so affected just by the anticipation of the arrival of more digital stimulation. Like these scientists, these neuroscientists, I too was struggling to slow my mind as these to-do lists came to mind, as schedules of my kids and where they were supposed to be. I just could not get rid of it. Here I was in the middle of tranquility, and yet I felt uptight and unable to relax until finally, without even realizing it, I honestly became one with my surroundings. I traded my anxiety for peace and contentment. There was no pressure to do anything but exist. And I loved the feeling. My senses became heightened as the hum of all my thoughts were replaced by the distant trickle of a melting glacier or the nearby bleating of goats. With every step, I became more conscious of the terrain under my feet, and with every pause, aware of this fragrant mountain air. My focus and my attention span returned, knowing that nothing, no kids, no emails, nothing could interrupt me. Back in Utah, the scientists experienced the same thing, a stage of relaxation one of them called third day syndrome. Something was happening to their brains that was reinforcing all their scientific discoveries. It was almost like their brains were being recalibrated. Upon their return, they were determined to analyze this, actual brain scans, to find out how time and nature can really reverse these effects. During our last night in Glacier, I sat against a log, and we opened up that $40 bottle of port, and we shared it from a plastic Nalgene bottle. The sun slowly slipped behind the mountains, almost on command. It was quiet and still, my muscles sore from the weight of my pack. My mind was finally clear and my heart at peace, and I realized why I had not gone to Naples.
If you could take a few minutes and fill out the evaluations. I almost forgot to get up. I was like, what?
Was that okay on time, Greg?
Yes.
Okay, barely.
Can I ask what was the objective? I didn't write it down.
The objectives that I printed off: to learn the elements of a good story, to create and tell an original story based on a personal experience. 6 to 8 minutes.
me last year on that No Child Left Inside
Oh.
Summit. They have some amazing facts about these kids and how they've been on technology more than they've been out in the real
I
world
believe
in
it.
nature.
I believe it. Do you guys have cable? I'm gonna cancel my cable for the summer.
Oh,
My
I've
kids,
heard of
my
families doing
kids
that for
aren't
the
happy
summer.
about it, but yeah, we have a library.
I am too.
Are you? We have. I mean, I don't really have that much time to watch it, and
Right. No, we only watch
So-
like the basic networks.
Yeah.
The kids watch Nickelodeon.
I know that. Yeah.
All right, we'll sum it up in a minute here. I love taking the kids camping, but then we gotta put
Yes.
the phones away.
I know it does take a while to, even on the weekends, you know, to
Mhm.
switch gears and settle.
All righty. We still have plenty of time, so Ganesh is our next speaker, but I see him writing, so go ahead, keep writing. We have time. Are you good?
Oh, and I also have a hastily made sign-up sheet because I promised Carin I would bring one in for Pat.
Oh,
No,
good.
you should have said this is considered nature and not technology.
Comes from a tree. All right. Our next speaker is Nanesh Modi, and he's going to be leading the table topics, and everybody